And we are here. Hello. It's that time again. I won't yell. But it's that time again. Today we are discussing search engines and we are going beyond. If you're joining us on the replay or live, pop in, say hi. And I'm Pip, Seymour Digital Media, and this is
Phelan, also with Seymour Digital Media.
our powers combined. We're going to take over the world and talk about search engines. I actually find this topic super fascinating because we just go down a rabbit hole. So I think first we want to define search engines, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a website, you want to show up on search engines. So we're going to discuss if we want to show up on all other search engines and is there a different way to do things? And from that, we'll get right into the chat. But Phelan, let us define what a search engine is.
Yeah. So a search engine isn't necessarily like a browser, right? Chrome is going to be different than google.com, the website that you go to that indexes the website. So they're generally a search engine is going to have a platform or some sort of indexing and information. And then you're requesting like, hey, how do I plant onions? And so they're going to go and find that information and provide you the best results for that.
And
Right.
they're going to have algorithms that speak to people searching for things, right?
Yeah. And they're going to typically they have some sort of information on you. So there's some sort of login. You log into Google or you log into your Amazon account. And so it has some previous knowledge of who you are. So it can provide you even more detailed information based on that. And so
Then you could consider a forum a search engine.
in some ways, I wouldn't consider it like explicitly compared to google.com or even like we'll get into later on YouTube or TikTok. Like those have a search engine functionality built in because they want discoverability across the platform, right? They want to be able to get you finding people that have that information about you.
Okay. And so the main search engines we see are what? Bing. So that's the definition. The definition is that
Yeah.
it's a tool we use online that we use for search functionality. So it has to have the search functionality, but it can't be a forum because a forum is a chat back and forth.
Yeah. A forum's a little bit different of it's like the search functionality is just like an add-on that you could go find a previous conversation that someone's had versus like I go on Amazon and I type in like miniature helicopter and then I want to go and get them one of those. So it's going to be that's different because Amazon has a million vendors and you're trying to find out one vendor that has your miniature helicopter.
Okay. And so we mostly use, and we know that Bing has
Is there?
taken from Google. And then we also know that there's like DuckDuckGo and Ecosia and Baidu, which we don't really see in Yandex. And they're all slightly different and in different places. Like Yandex is really great. That's the Russian one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
There's
yeah, and then Bing is like always there, and it's generally the people that are using it are enterprise people, so that it's really good place to get listed on if you have some sort of like enterprise service that you're trying to get in front of people. That's
where
usually
you
we found.
use Windows, right?
Yeah, where everyone's stuck in the Microsoft ecosystem, and they're for security reasons not allowed to just have Chrome because at enterprise security levels, you need to have rules in place about what you can and can't use on your work computer.
And on a PC, when you buy a PC, isn't it loaded up with something?
With Bing and all the Microsoft information, like all their platform, yeah. Which
Wonder if their biggest search is Google. But
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Install Google. It's probably the same for Safari. It's the first thing
so,
that gets
oh,
searched.
I didn't even mention Safari. And then
Safari's
there's,
a browser, not a search engine. Because as soon
okay.
as you open up Safari, because the browser is just the thing that gets you access to the internet, and then once you're on the internet to go find anything, you generally go to Google to find more.
Okay. But now people are using ChatGPT and things like that. And you don't consider that a search engine. That's an aggregation of a search engine.
Yeah, and then it's I totally get why people would think that is the case. But really, what it is that these are large language models that reduce down to averages that based on the terms that you're using, that these people would have this as an answer.
Hmm.
It's a little complicated, but generally, it is going to be something that they're just different results at the end of the day because of the
Okay.
nature of what they're trying to accomplish. Because again, like Google's going to have information on you and then provide you search results based on that, whereas ChatGPT won't always have that. Like they're trying to find an average of things. That's what it reduces to.
Okay.
Um,
Did you share the live in the group? Oh, you did.
yes, I did. It
Oh.
took me a little bit because Facebook decided to be nice and mean about showing it to me.
Mm. So if you are joining us on another channel, just so you know, we are in the Facebook group, Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. Yeah, I get the name. We have some special news about that, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, now that I'm not distracted anymore, because I was focused on, oh goodness.
Yeah, and Aura was just asking about Edge and Copilot. So Edge is the browser that will host Bing. Bing is the search engine, and then Copilot is their AI companion that goes with it. It can do like search engine generally. It's a classic Google, like it's a little search bar, and you type in stuff, and then it gives you answers back. That's the classic search engine response.
Okay. Now, and why aren't we defining ChatGPT or Poe or Perplexity as a search engine when we do get answers? And a lot of people are using those.
Because they don't give you results per se. So if I go to Amazon, the biggest difference I would say between an AI response and what a search engine gives me. So if I go into Google and I type in how do I plant onions, it's going to take me to show me a set of blogs. Now,
Mhm.
it's not going to tell me a definitive answer. It's actually going to give me a multiplicity of answers. And I can go and check and see which ones I actually like of those answers. Whereas the AI kind of takes all those, squishes them down, and then finds an average between them. And so
Uh,
that's why it's a subtle difference, but it's how people like it doesn't cite anything. Perplexity, I think, is better at citations.
it, yeah, you have to dig
I
into the
said,
citations and make sure they're right because
yeah.
sometimes it's mixed, or from my experience anyway.
Oh,
Okay, so search engines, it's a place, it's not a browser, it's the place we go after we're on the browser.
yeah, we open up the browser and we're going to start using the internet. And
And
or
there's some
saying Copilot
distinctions.
gives
Oh,
options and links and resources as well. Okay,
um,
that's good to
oh,
know.
I don't have the chat up. Look at me. Hold on. I will try to bring the question up. There we go. Ah, look at that beautiful face
What?
there. Ah, okay. And what is the one Chris is using that he really likes?
That again was a browser called Arc that came out 2 years ago. It looks like when I was researching. It's a Chromium one, which is like Edge, Firefox, and Chrome are all built on the same engine called Chromium,
Okay.
and so anyone can just grab the Chromium base and build your own. So yeah, you have Brave, you have Opera, like there's
And
like
where are they pulling in those? Because Google ranks it and then shares it. So are these search engines doing the same thing?
they're browsers, they're not the search
Browsers.
engines.
Yes. Okay. And
Yeah.
so every browser, does it come equipped with this?
Gen- and that's the big Google lawsuit was that Google was because they were paying Mozilla, so they by default Firefox would have Google as their default search engine, thereby crowding out like DuckDuckGo being on Mozilla or any of those other ones that could potentially compete against Google was because they were strong arming these other competitors to having it by default. Apple was the same. The default search engine on Apple was Google, and
Hmm.
so it was seen as to be a competitive advantage for them to be on the the number three browser, and the number four browser, which is Safari.
Interesting. And so Mozilla's paid for by Google, let's say, or donates. Google donates a lot of money
Yeah,
to Mozilla. So cross those two out, they're basically the same. Bing stole from Google. So are they
Uh,
not the same? Are they different now? Because they've integrated the AI right into their system. I'm not sure if Google's really done that.
Bing, the good part about Bing is that they worked with Yandex to do that index now. So that was a powerful tool that they built in to help you get indexed right away into their algorithm. So you write a new blog post, you can say index now, and they can scan it and tell you what they think about it, which is a pretty cool tool. I really wish that Google would integrate that. I also know that Wix has that directly integrated into their backend index now functionality.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go and submit to Google via Google Search Console, right? And your site's app.
Yeah, but it takes a couple business days. Like they're talking about like it's an API that does like index now, like it
Oh,
does what
interesting.
says on the tin.
And so why are we're talking about, I'm like, why are we talking about going beyond search engines and knowing this stuff? Is it important to know this stuff, or do we just do what we're doing on Google and then don't worry about the other search engines? Like, why do we go beyond?
So there's a couple of ways to look at this. There's certainly so we have a couple of clients that turned out to be really big for them, and that optimizing getting them on big webmasters, making sure there's no issues according to the Bing algorithm actually turned out to be very useful for them because they didn't need a lot of clients, but they were, as a ratio, they only got like 13 visitors, but three of them converted. So it had an insanely high conversion rate for low amount of traffic. If you're optimizing for these other channels and that raises it by a couple of extra conversions, and I think they're a renovation company. So big ticket item. And if they're getting 3 or 4 new people in their system and they're getting those clients to go through and actually be a lead, there was like 5 figures that they just made off of optimizing for Bing.
Right?
So
That's pretty good.
yeah,
And so it is good. And you're going to find that information in Google Analytics, right? But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
if we go back to the search engines and talk about going beyond them, some people do search on other engines, right? Like, look at Chris, look at people who use DuckDuckGo who don't want ads, who
Yeah.
more and more people are using ChatGPT and these AI tools, which are scraping everywhere. And
Yeah.
so I think there was, is it Elon Musk who's getting sued now because of some scraping
Oh
images?
yeah. He took off the stoppage for copywritten material. So if you wanted to say I want Sonic the Hedgehog to be fighting Mickey Mouse, you can get a picture of that. Yeah, which
Not
is
legal at all.
very dubious of to get around. Generally, generally, ChatGPT and AI systems are trying to get around attribution to say this isn't Mickey, this is just a mouse that happens to have red
Mickey
pants.
features.
Yeah, and so
And
they're
so it's interesting. And the reason we talk about search engines is because it's a very interesting topic for the user.
yeah,
Because for example, so let's put in let's put in TikTok and YouTube. So are the search engines. And if we put in TikTok and YouTube, do we put in Facebook?
yes, and then we say that Facebook has a terrible search engine, which is entertaining because the same search engine would definitionally be the one that they're using for the ads because they have to have some sort of algorithm that says that these sets of words would be really good in front of this person. So why wouldn't their searches be able to help you find that person as well?
Okay.
Mm,
Okay. So we are grouping, but we're not including forums. So in this, the one that's really interesting, I find the one that's the most interesting for me personally right now is the TikTok search engine. There are a group of people who do not search on Google anymore. And when we were looking up something yesterday and you couldn't find anything on Google, I went and searched on TikTok, and TikTok's really good because short videos right away what you're getting, and the search engine is beautiful.
yeah, and it's interest based. So that's one thing to bear in mind is that when they pieced it together, they didn't do it by Facebook is, oh, this person knows this person because of these connection points, and they make a social graph. Like that was their big innovation. And Google does it through interest graph. So you searched for this, and then you searched for this, and they piece you together that way as like a knowledge graph.
And
Um,
TikTok's doing a similar thing. YouTube's doing a similar thing.
TikTok does it through an interest graph. So people that were interested in this topic were also interested in this topic. And then they do you as a relation of, on average, when people were interested in this, they also were interested in this.
And this is why when you go and you do these searches, you can go down this crazy rabbit hole and get to some crazy end, right? Depending, because the way the system works is it just gives you more of what you want. And that is the democratization of information, is it not?
Yeah, it gets it in front of more people. And so I would say that, yeah, it's definitely one of the more powerful tools that TikTok has is that it does like a good job with their interest graph. And so you can find things that you're looking for pretty quickly. And oh, thanks.
I took that
Uh,
away. She was
yeah,
thankful. Couldn't have that.
yeah. But yeah, TikTok is like just another kind of search engine for finding it because it's again, it's about discoverability, right? Like I need to be able to get in front of people with my message. And so TikTok is trying to do that through when you're searching, like, how do I make a French onion soup? It'd be the same concept for TikTok as it would for YouTube, where they're trying to find you the video that it does that explanation. And so the other thing of why I count them as being different is that how would I explain this? So like another one is Amazon. And the reason why I would say Amazon, YouTube, and TikTok are like have search engines is because they have people that do SEO for those platforms. So you can hire someone who knows how to get you found on all three of those platforms. They're obviously doing different things for each one, but that shows you that there's some sort of like magic to get in front of people because there's so many people clamoring to be found on these platforms.
Mhm. And not just with ads.
Yeah.
TikTok's still the place where people go viral. You don't really, and then the sub platforms for people would be like Instagram, YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know that Instagram is very interest based and they, especially with like their reels or their short video content, that they do something similar to TikTok was my understanding when I heard about it is that there's a lot of discoverability, right? The hashtags and stuff like that that people put in to make it easier for you to get found and then caught up on those. But yeah, TikTok definitely is for virality is right now the one of the hot
Probably the
ones
number
too.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nothing has come comparatively. I think they are a great search engine. They are my second go-to after Google for sure. But that's just me. What about you? Where do you go? Where are your first 2 to 3 places that you'd like to know?
Hmm.
And we're talking about this because I think, do we want to try to show up on these other search engines? It looks like we do with Bing, but are we going to care what we do on other certain? Are we going to care about the ranking? Because where do we even find results for those in Google Analytics?
I, I would say if you're an e-commerce business, getting found on YouTube, Amazon, and TikTok are probably going to do a lot to help your business, right? So that's why the SEO would matter. Getting your products like connected. I know for YouTube now connects with Merchant Center, so you can have like a YouTube short, and it'll have a little like buy my product in the top right
I
hand
didn't know
corner.
that. I did not
So
know that.
yeah,
And Merchant Center, YouTube and Merchant Center. Because I don't work in Merchant Center very often.
yeah, and so it's definitely those ones would be ones I would definitely push for with the for SEO.
Good news for you, I will tell you, Aura, is that if you're relevant on Google, you're probably doing all the right things for all the other search engines. Maybe not for video search engine, but the things you do there are the SRT script and things like that. And I think those just naturally have to help to let
Yeah,
the robots know what your stuff is about.
And YouTube's going to be a little bit different because you don't necessarily need to be found in a search because you have the suggested on the right hand side. So if you're similar enough to a video that you want to be like, but you have a different point that you make, that's how the guy at Backlinko got his start. Was
Oh
that
yeah,
he
we don't
copied?
see him anymore, do we?
No,
Used to.
he's under contract.
Oh, is he still?
Yeah, he's got like 2 more years. It's
Backlinko. He
just
got bought by SEM Rush. Mind you, I am liking SEM Rush.
yeah. SEM Rush has actually made some pretty good improvements as of recent. And so I would say that, yeah, that's how Brian at Backlinko got found is that he did YouTube SEO by basically doing something similar to every other person doing SEO videos on YouTube and then having his own little spin so that he would be found in the suggested, right? And so there's like little tricks like that that are, it's specific to the platform and getting found.
Where to pay attention to. So you always want
Yeah.
to go into the data of the platform, right? And look around in there and see because different things matter to those different platforms, like length of watch time, things like that.
Yeah. And how the discoverability works. Like how a person that doesn't know who you are wouldn't even know to search you. How do they find you?
Yeah.
So
Hardest thing
that's
about having a business is getting found, right? Getting found by the right people at the right time in the right place. Google calls those moments, the moments that matter.
and Aura saying, wait, what? I can purposely make content similar to my competition on YouTube to get more reach. Yeah, you'll have to experiment with this, but basically you want to find basically your idea is that you make content that's similar, but maybe there's like a point or two that you make that's different than what they explain because it's your own viewpoint. And you're like, oh, when you're doing this, you should do watch out for this. Like a tip like that. That's how Brian got started. I don't have any reason to suggest why it's not worth something to experiment with and to see if it does get you more reach. Because again, what you're trying to do is show up in the suggested column next to them or the hey next video if the video maker hasn't or the YouTuber hasn't actually made a suggestion, so you could show up in that like the coming up next section. And so that's one way to hack your way in there is just finding just extending it because Google obviously wants people to stay on YouTube as long as possible.
That's
Another
the
reason,
yeah, it's the whole game, right? Stay on. That's what they want. They want the people to stay on as long as possible because then their advertisers will show.
yeah. And also, if you make like an evergreen piece of content for YouTube, the good part about YouTube is that it will also naturally extend out. So it's not like Facebook and Meta and TikTok where you're having to constantly post new videos and constantly show up. You can have a video that's old that just is evergreen. And so people watch it and like they keep coming back to it. And so
Yeah.
that's a way that that the discoverability of the platform enables you to have something live for a really long time and you don't have to keep cranking out new content. Not to say you shouldn't have new content, but that's just
Well,
a way to
content's
help.
changing too, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
all the AI stuff. People are more able to write things, but they have to, like Google's algorithm update will probably show if you've been writing new content or not, it's relevant or not.
Yeah.
But wait another week to see where you land. Don't don't make any
Yeah.
changes and just do what you're doing now and then assess in about a week for Google anyway. And then make some changes and you'll show up on the other search engines. The end. Right? All right. Oh yeah, right, that's a good question.
Uh,
Sure they are.
no, legally, I have to say that they have not done that.
If you go to Perplexity, it pulls in if you ask a question, it pulls in the data sources that you can go
Yes,
check out. And
but
so it does pull in
according to
stuff.
the yeah, according to the CEO of OpenAI who does ChatGPT, they have not scraped YouTube. Yeah, so that's their official stance is that they have not done it. Are the results very similar to as if they had scraped it? Yes, they are. It's just coincidental that that's the case. But we have to say legally they have not done that.
Don't you just want to break into song about legally distinct lollipop gay? Okay. So basically, what I'm getting from our whole talk here is that if I work on one search engine, then I should show up on the other ones. But there
Yes.
are other ones to look at, and I'll find my results of the search engines where I'm showing up in Google Analytics.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
who comes to your site from one of those channels. Yes.
Okay. And that's pretty interesting. And if I wanted, I could set up, you said, big places and big webmaster tools. That sounds just like, and it does have some interesting information, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's, they have actually put in some effort into building up Bing webmasters into being, I found it to be actually pretty good. Like it does like a site audit for you and tells you if there's broken links, like a screaming frog type thing. So there was some stuff in there that I thought was pretty good for competitor to Search Console.
I'm seeing a hummingbird in our oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Anyway, okay, we
Mm.
are running out of time and we have some news for you all. So before you go, we'll talk about next week. Next week, we are talking about something amazing. I think it is Greg and I and about website.
I think Greg and Rena.
I was all excited. Damn.
I think you and Greg are next the week after.
Oh, and what are they talking about?
I was trying to. Yeah.
I know I get all excited and then I update and I'm like, they're talking about something amazing. It looks like they are talking about. Oh, it is me and Greg. We're talking
Oh, it
about
is.
the WordPress roadmap. So if you want to know the history of WordPress, where they're going and what they're doing, that's what we're going to be talking about next. And the other exciting news is we have a free SEO course that we moved to Kajabi, and it is pretty much ready to go. And so I'm going to ask a couple friends to look at it, and then it's going to be free for people. And we also are launching our Google Ads course. So if you are interested in learning how to do Google Ads for yourself as a business, like if you're looking to learn how to take care of your own Google Ads yourself, we do have a 5-week course that we're going to be doing live training, and we'll tell you more about that next week. But I'm told that I should promote everything from now on. There's some other. We have been in chats with the other two admin, and I think we're maybe considering doing some rebranding stuff. So that should be really exciting. But that's as we grow and develop, our ideas grow and develop. So we were thinking it's time for a little change. Anyway.
No, that was the big one. I think just what's coming down the pipe for us teaching, because I know you and I wanted to get back into that part. And also, yeah, the rebrand. I think it's.
Sorry. That was my exciting news. The drum roll just came a little. It's really funny. Pardon me, Phelan, what were you saying?
I was saying, yeah, we're excited for the rebrand and then the course.
Of course. So September is around the corner. If you want to talk about anything or do anything, or if you are on this live and you want to jump into the Facebook group, right now it's Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. And in there, we support each other in our endeavors. And I think there's a post today about, or it was on Monday, about your goals or what you're missing out on. So go jump in, say something in there. We'd love to see it. And we have 1 minute. We're so good. This was such a good chat.
Mm-hmm.
I think
yeah, it's a good one.
Here, go have lunch. Yeah, let's go have lunch.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Happy end of summer to you. Do all the things you love doing in the summer today. Huh?
All right.
Ooh, or says it's awesome, the course.
Mm-hmm.